What did happen, though, is that Derek Carr has officially decided, Jake, he is not going to waive his no-trade clause, which means that Derek Carr cannot be traded. He's also not going to extend the Wednesday deadline where he will be due $40 million by the Raiders. And it also means that he will likely be released today. And in the end, during this whole process, it looked like the Saints were the only ones truly interested as a trade partner. And it came to light, Jake, that they wanted Carr to take a pay cut. They wanted to trade for him, but part of their pitch was him taking a pay cut. Derek Carr obviously says, well, why would I do that, right? I'm going to go hit the open market and see what the open market holds. And so Derek Carr going to be released. I don't think it means that the Saints are out on Derek Carr. But, now we will see where the bidding war goes. And that's kind of my question to you, Jake, because there seems to be kind of a disconnect in what some of the market research points to in terms of Derek Carr will be worth and maybe how it feels like what Derek Carr should be worth, right? Because you have very smart individuals like Nick Underhill writing about like how, it's honestly upper 30 millions. And then you go on like spotrac.com, which is a great salary cap based website, do really great work, and their estimated market value is like $37.4 million. But I have trouble seeing somebody actually wanting to pay that for Derek Carr on the open market. So I wonder, will that actually come to pass?
Yeah, obviously a lot of moving parts here. Should Carr be on the Raiders roster come Monday, his full salary, which is $32.9 million for 23, becomes fully guaranteed, as does $7.5 million of his $41.9 million salary for 2024. If they cut him before then, the Raiders will be off the hook for the $40.4 million, and they would take a $5.6 million salary cap hit while freeing up $29.3 million in cap space.
So he gone today or before Wednesday. He's gone before Wednesday for sure.
Yeah, so they were trying to get something, and there was only one team interested. Now, let me throw this to the room because I've been the one person that's been on the other side of this. Y'all have been in favor of it. Only one team really wanted to try to work out a trade. Wasn't 6 teams, wasn't even 3 teams. It was one team. And so does that make y'all think, what is the value when only the Saints were interested in potentially trading for Derek Carr?
Yes, now certainly I think the main thing there, though, is that a lot of teams knew the Raiders were in this spot, and so it's like, why would I trade you? Why would I give up anything when you are going to be – your hand is going to be
because
forced.
If you want him bad enough, you'll give up a pick.
Exactly. And so to your point, that leads me to believe that teams are valuing him under that number. Because the 37 estimated, market value number that's being thrown around there if he hits the open market is really no different from the contract that he currently has. And so if you're willing to pay him that per year, like Jake said, why wouldn't you maybe go head off any suitors, not let it get any higher? But maybe, I don't know, maybe like that number's at the upper end of what they view a free market agent or free market would dictate, so that maybe it gets there, but they're all banking on that it won't, and that you'll be able to get him for cheaper. Because, the Raiders had no leverage, and yes, to your point, nobody was in love, not even the Saints, who asked him to take a pay cut, reportedly, were in love with him enough to give up assets and give that number. He may still get that number, but the team that signs him is not going to have to give up assets.
Yeah, I just don't get the number. And the number is the number. Like T keeps telling you, there's websites and people that are telling us this is what it is. And I understand that, but who's going to give said number? Like that, I have a hard time believing teams are going to be running to the phones to call Derek Carr's agent to give that number.
I kind of have a hard time. That's what I'm saying.
Because
again, I try to think about the teams that he could end up on. What even teams? Oh, finish your thought. I'm going to try to put a list together.
I mean, Andy Dalton, again, and Andy Dalton's not going to win you championships, but I'm just giving you a comp. Andy Dalton finished, was it 9th in quarterback rating, and Derek Carr was, 23rd, 24th? And the stats weren't that different.
Yeah.
They really weren't.
No, I mean.
And you had more attempts for Carr than Dalton, so maybe some of those touchdown numbers. But
you and the canon agree. Hold the mail point out, Jeff. He says, Bobby Hebert said it best. How many millions better is Derek Carr than Andy Dalton?
And again, this is not championing for Andy Dalton. This is just kind of laying out. You paid $3 million for Andy Dalton last year, and you're talking about paying $40. Between
like
35 and
you
40.
want to do something, though. It
You
feels like
do
you
want to do something, but is there better somethings out there?
I wonder, in last year's schedule, though, I wonder if you go, but I mean, it's just a hypothetical.
I just feel like every
matter.
time we have this conversation, and I'm not saying just with us in this room, with anyone, there's always, yeah, but he never really had a defense. Or, yeah, he's had 6 head coaches in 9 years. Or, yeah, there's always like a, yeah, but.
I kind of think there's some legitimacy there, though. I mean,
yeah, but
crap.
There's a lot of quarterbacks that go through a lot of turnover that it's just that's the nature of the NFL.
Yeah.
Now, the most successful ones, Brady has Belichick, Mahomes has Reed. Like, that's great if you can do that. There's a lot of people that could get in here and talk about how many different coordinators they've had, how many different head coaches they've had.
Yeah.
That's just a nature of the NFL, unfortunately. I think there's going, like, even if it was $20 million a year for a Jimmy G, or if $15 million for a Heineke, which do you value more? Heineke at $15 million, Garoppolo at $22 million, or
Heineke 15 would feel just as exciting as Derek Carr. Like, I can get behind that. To your point, also, Jake, like, who's actually in the running for him? I mean, you look around the NFL right now, and this sounds dumb because, okay, like the Colts would probably be a team for sure. I don't think Titans. Definitely not. Texans? No, Texans.
Texans are going
to be drafting one. Yeah, exactly.
Somehow, some way.
Giants aren't going to not sign Daniel Jones to sign Derek Carr. I mean, Commanders could be a team maybe. Everybody in the West is fine with quarterback. I mean, I guess the Niners potentially. The point is, when you actually, like, if we're trying to get to $40 million, there's not even that many suitors to push it to $40 million as well. So we'll see. Maybe the play is here that maybe like internal, because Spot Rack and all that's very public information. Maybe there's some sort of internal analytics that like these NFL front offices have that are kind of saying that, hey, actually let him hit the free agent market and his value is not going to be that high. I do think, though, Jake, the Saints are firm believers if you want somebody, go get them. And the fact that they were willing to give up assets for Derek Carr had he taken a pay cut will let me know that they are still going to pursue him in free agency, right? They obviously like him. It's just determined of how much do they like him. All right, when we get back, let's do some or anything to add, Jake, on Derek Carr before you head out?
No, I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it as you were talking, just, who's going to be available and what it's going to take to maybe get those players. And I still see ESPN.com, Bill Barnwell did a great article about maybe what it's going to take for, some of these quarterbacks and, guys like Jimmy G are at a cheaper price right now. There's going to be quarterbacks that I think are at the same level or maybe even better than Carr that, again, he might have priced himself because of the contract that he just signed, maybe he priced himself out of a lot of teams. I don't know that, but I'm just sitting here looking at what the predictions are for some of these quarterbacks, and they're coming at a cheaper price, a much cheaper price. And I know the Saints are really good at the cap and manipulating the cap and finding a way, but they're $55 million over right now. So if you free up $55 million and you're going to give a quarterback $40 million, what's the rest of your team going to look like?
Yeah.
Now, I know that, and Kat Terrell's got a great article on ESPN.com on how they can free up that much money. Maybe we can hit that on the other side. But if you free that up, you're going to be losing at certain positions.
Yeah, and we've seen it before. I mean, ever since the cap dropped in 2020, that kind of ruined all of the Saints continue to push the can down the road plans, and it was kind of the first time where you had to pay the proverbial piper. Craig Rinchen, we broke. We'll see.